Welcome, one and all, to Rush Racing North America and Europe. I am your host for today, the one and only Gamehawk, as always. And here in the commentary booth with me is Verstappen. And oh boy, this is going to be a very interesting race. Can you agree with me there, Verstappen?
I sure can, and I'm glad I get to actually stay and watch it this time.
Yeah, and I do. Last time you weren't able to stay, and there was definitely a lot of drama that came out of Australia, and you did end up missing it. But right now, I guess in some ways, both me and you are braving the elements as we have a winter storm that is currently bearing down on us, but that is not going to stop us as we are currently right now into full qualifying in China for our Division 1 race. It is a full qualifying, so we will see first here in this first session how things are going to shape up, as we have a couple of drivers already setting their times. But how are you holding up there? I know we've talked about before the qualifying that how cold it was, but how are you holding up?
It's pretty cold. I'm currently trying to keep my hands and feet warm so I can race tonight. So my fingers don't fall off, because for a few days now they've been numb. I don't know if that's a good thing though.
I mean, you're not the only one. I also currently have a blanket over my feet, trying to keep my feet warm as well. Because, I mean, being in the south of the South United States, this does not happen very often. Where it's like, I'm originally from the north, so we're used to the colder weather. But this is not necessarily what I was expecting to get.
Yeah.
But so far we don't have anybody who has set a lap time. We have a couple people who have started their lap. As I say that, Ricky will go ahead and set the first lap with a 134.5. And we do have the question in the chat. The full quali, yes, it is a full qualifying, as in a Q1, a Q2, and a Q3. Here in Q1, I believe, since we have 16 drivers, only one driver will be eliminated, as then we go into Q2, where P15 to P11 will be eliminated, and then in Q3 we'll have the final shootout. And so far, as we wait for a lot of these drivers to set their first times, that we can go ahead and talk about the track. I personally said before that this is by far, in my opinion, one of the most difficult tracks. And I think it's not only difficult for me, but I feel like the consensus that I've gotten from a lot of people is that China is just a very difficult track in general.
It really is, especially that first corner in the first sector. That is horrible. And that, I was practicing it yesterday, kind of helping and stuff, and I burn out my tires within that 11.
Yeah,
It's not a good track.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's very tough, especially for I think especially like tires as well, because especially like where we were last week or 2 weeks ago, sorry, with Australia, you can kind of predict how the tires are going to fare, just because Australia is like a street circuit. You can kind of guess, just because of the turns that are there. You can like I said, you can kind of predict how things are going to go. With how demanding China is, you already know that the tires absolutely just, especially the softs, can literally just fall off the car in 2 laps.
Yeah. That is why the worst thing to do is start on softs. Like, I say probably about every team is doing either a 2 pit stop, which is a medium hard, or a hard medium, or a one stop, which is risky, a medium hard or a hard medium.
Yeah, and I definitely, yeah, I agree with you there. That I also think that that is what's going to be the strategy. Funny enough, we talked about it with, we also were talking to Illyrian, who is currently on the track right now. We talked about it to him that he personally says that he thinks that some people may try a one stop. I personally would be interested to see if anyone actually tries that.
Me too. I'm very interested. I know Koopa, my teammate's is think about trying it, and he's conservative, but not that conservative. I told him if anything does happen, I prefer him pit and do a two stop. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, there is a little bit of a question mark just because you're not entirely sure what's going to happen when you end up starting the race. And
No, you do.
another part of that, we were talking about it, that there is a very high likelihood that we might see some rain here as well.
Hopefully.
Just adds more to the chaos. Am I right? It just as commentators, we want to see the chaos.
And for my race, I want it to rain because personally, I'm really good in the rain.
And I guess that is something that we do talk about because as far as we have seen, it looks like it's going to be dry qualifying. That does kind of wonder because we have drivers like you who are really good in the rain. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's going to have any sort of effect because some of the people who are really good in the dry maybe have a few issues in the rain. So I'd be curious to see how that's going to end up working out.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting because honestly, with my pace, it's not a bad pace. And many of these drivers don't have a bad pace, but if they're anything like some of the good racers I've raced, then they might not be on pole. I possibly could get a pole here if it does rain. That's a if, but it's more of a likely if than if I was on a dry tires. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess we've said it before where it's just like it's a big question mark where it's like there's so many different factors that can go into a race where you don't know if it's going to rain, you don't know if it's going to stay dry, how are the drivers going to do in qualifying versus the race. So I guess that is kind of the beauty of especially like a league like this where a lot of the drivers are, I would say, very close in skill level. That really just makes it interesting just because then it comes down to, or it really could come down to like what your strategy is and how you do in the various elements.
Yeah, and especially with some drivers, I feel like the ones that are in controller, they have limits, but some like Illyrian, they somehow break those limits and set their own. I'm currently not able to do that just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, or going off of that point, talking about breaking our limits, currently, as we look at the lineup of the drivers who've currently set their lap times, Project in the Alpine currently has a provisional pole for the first qualifying session here with a 1 minute 32.4. Second place is almost a second and a half behind with Kellogg in a 1 minute 34.043. So maybe a little bit of an early push from Project to make sure that he's going to get through. But so far we haven't seen many of the other, what we'd say, contenders really set their laps yet, because Vide still hasn't set a lap time yet. Low Pro is on his outlap as well. Money hasn't set one as well. Meraki Dawn hasn't either, and Illyrian is currently, I believe that lap was him going around on an outlap and then going into the pits. So already kind of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of curiosity is starting to creep in to see how these lap times are going to end up being.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I was looking at these times, I'm like, dang, I just might be slow because 6th place is, or 7th place is better than me by like 200ths of a second possibly. So I was like, dang, I'm kind of slow. And that's me pushing.
Yeah, and I mean, I already said that China is by far my personal worst track, so I already know that I already know my role is to be the commentator and to not. There's a reason I am not a driver.
My whole tracks are also China, but my Silverstone's way worse.
But see, for me, Silverstone is by far one of my best. I would say Silverstone and Qatar are by far my 2 best tracks. So maybe there's a little bit of a difference there. I mean, if worst comes to worst, if Verstappen needs a sub, I guess I'd be willing to jump in, but probably not going to happen. But yeah, Governor, if you're watching, I hope you heard that. But
I'll miss the race intentionally. You're like, I want Hog to drive for me.
Oh my word.
I'm just gonna be something to dodge on that race.
Oh my word. All right, 4 minutes to go here in the first qualifying session, and we did obviously we were talking about people setting pace, and so far we're seeing it right now as we see a little bit of the grid starting to get a little bit closer as Low Pro and Randro and both Mercedes will set basically almost identical times, and they'll take over P2 and P3. And with only 3.5 minutes left, and right now China being a 1.5 minute lap time ish, I mean, eventually a lot of these drivers are going to just having to go ahead, and if they want to set a time now, they're probably going to have to. But I'm gonna be kind of wondering how things are gonna go, because I mean, Wildcat did retire. I'm not entirely sure why, but more than likely, if it stays as the qualifying is right now, that means that Wildcat would be eliminated. But obviously you don't want to just get in just because someone else didn't set a time. You at least want to get a little bit of practice out of the way.
Yeah, most definitely, because trying to learn this track is it will help you. It would possibly even give you pole if you learn this track enough. It really could. You just got to learn the first sector, and then a little bit of the second sector, and then the third sector, probably a little bit at the end.
Yeah, and I think that realistically, Sector 1 is probably the place that you could end up. I always get the terms mixed up, but you could end up losing a lot of time in Sector 1 because of how important those first few turns are. But at the same time, there is a lot of time to be gained there just because of the nature of the course itself. And with 1.5 minutes, I'm very curious to see, as Meraki Dawn is about to cross the line, I'm very interested to see what his time is going to be, because we saw that Vide ended up setting a 132.9. So I'm curious to see where Meraki Dawn will play. So Meraki Dawn will set a 132.6. So that will by far secure his place into the second qualifying session. But right now, it looks like for Q1, it looks like Project Race will set the fastest time.
Oh, Grieco's hasn't set a single lap.
You're right. I'm not entirely sure what is going to happen with the full qualifying because, as we all know, that this game is absolutely perfect with no glitches or no question marks at all. I am going to be very curious to see what this game will do in its infinite wisdom to see how they choose to figure out how the first qualifying will work. But so far, that's as far as I can see, that's the first qualifying session done and dusted.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Better love the sickness. Oh, you gotta love it.
Yeah. So there we go. So qualifying has ended. The last few minutes will tick off as the drivers will return. And actually, I believe that... Oh, never mind. I thought he was going to try and set one more lap, but no. So I am curious to see, I mean, so far a little bit early previews coming out of Q1. You can see that our top three right now, unlike in real life, two Alpines are currently some of the fastest drivers with a Red Bull in the middle. And then you have both Mercedes as well. So far, a little bit of dominance by Alpine and Mercedes, but we didn't really see a good lap from Alizzi. We didn't see it from Illyrian. So kind of curious to see in the second qualifying how that's going to go.
Yeah, I know for a fact they're gonna set a higher time. They aren't gonna set their best time, but they're gonna set it to the bare minimum. They more likely will, because it looked like that's what they did today for Q1.
So now the last driver, the Williams of pit, will go into the pits, and that will end our first qualifying session. We'll head into qualifying 2. Like I said, not entirely sure. Not entirely sure what the game is going to do and who's going to choose, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I am very curious to see what lap times Alizzi and Illyrian will set. But something we talked about prior to going live is that in a full qualifying, it really only matters about setting the fastest time you can in each individual session. So that is kind of a big question as we are going to head into the second session, is to see, are things going to stay the same? Are the same drivers going to stay up front, or is someone else going to end up setting a faster time?
Yeah, that's truly a mystery of its own.
Yeah, so far there we go. So now we will head into the second qualifying session. We'll basically restart the clock, and we'll see who gets to set the fastest time. So now P15 to P11 will be eliminated in this. So it was Wildcat, I believe, that oh no, it was Wildcat and Grecos both got eliminated. So now we have our 15 driver, or if I'm reading it correctly, yes, I do see that. So now we'll see 15 minutes on the clock. So now Q2 with the chance of going into Q3 to get basically pole position. Because I don't know about you, but in some of the online races that I've done at China, I feel like pole position is just It's basically a cheat code. Like if you end up getting on the front row, like you're almost guaranteed to finish top 5 at the bare minimum.
Unless you somehow messed it up and hit and sent into a wall, then no. But if you somehow carry it and bring it home, you could, yeah. If you start on pole, you're basically gonna win, more likely. I've seen some people though start from the very back and win. I don't know how they do it. It takes patience. I know that.
I agree with you that I don't know how they do it, because I feel like some of the other tracks you could definitely do it. Because I feel like, for example, I think Belgium would be one of my personal biggest examples that I've seen, where someone starts in the back and they just get a massive run through a Rouge and into the DRS zone, and you can make up a ton of positions. But at somewhere like here, it's still kind of like, it's very hard to make up positions, because you always think, well, oh, just go to sector 3 on the long straight. But the problem is that you need to get through sector 1 and sector 2 just to get to that straight. So there's a lot more steps that need to be in, and you have to have such a fast pace to be able to even have that opportunity to go on that long straight and use that speed and momentum. So it's just, I agree. I don't know how some people do it on China to go from last to the front of the grid.
Yeah, it's truly just crazy. Like, I don't understand, because it takes patience and it takes speed to do that at this track. A lot of patience. And I know most people do not have that patience. And I'm wondering what happened to Wildcat.
Yeah, I'm not okay, so I did read it wrong. So it did put Wildcat in over Grecos, and then Wildcat retired once again. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I haven't seen any communication at all as to what's going on, so just gonna at least go with it, go with the flow, and we'll hopefully figure out and make sure that everything is all right and good. And right now it looks like Vide is going to set the first lap for Q2, as I think, yes, he is the first driver on the grid to do it. So again, we talked about it before. I'm very curious to see what times we're gonna see set. And actually, I was wrong. Both Ferraris are actually gonna beat Vide to the line, but it doesn't matter, because Vide will set a 1:32, and actually that is faster than Project's time in Q1. So already we've seen a faster time.
This is going to be an interesting race. If it was a wet race, this would have been an even more interesting race.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine necessarily what's going to happen if we go through this qualifying and then it is like full wet for the race. I mean, it works on the entertainment value as commentators and for the viewers. It works for the drama and for the chaos, but I can already probably guess that the drivers probably wouldn't be as excited.
I would. As a driver, I can say I would be excited.
Now, I don't know if necessarily you are the majority, because I know for a fact that I don't like driving in the rain. I don't like driving in the rain in real life. And not necessarily because it's that bad, but it's more because I don't trust the people around me driving on the highway. So, I mean, maybe it applies a little bit to real life, to Formula One in the same way, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of driving in the rain.
I like it because I can control the car a whole lot more through the little controller I use. So I have a better feeling, and that might be why I do better. That might be.
Yeah, I mean that really is actually that is probably a reason. And Illyrian, so we talked about Illyrian. He didn't really set a real time, but now he does, and he's up into P2. So already seeing some faster times than what we saw in Q1. And literally, as I say that, we talked about both Haas drivers. Lizzie will go ahead and set a 132.9 as well. I feel like now, out of all the drivers, I'm the most curious to see how both Mercedes and Meraki Dawn are going to respond.
Yeah, they could try to go for pole a 1-2 possibly. And I know for me that would be amazing.
Yeah, the Haas team principal himself would love to see that happen. But I will say that they've definitely improved from Q1. Now, maybe in Q1 they weren't taking it maybe a little bit as seriously, just because of only having 16 drivers. So there is a little bit of, okay, I can kind of mess around a little bit more, that it's not as serious. But
Yeah.
at the same time, that is very good result, because I mean, this is what you would basically count as crunch time, just because Q1 you can kind of mess around and you can kind of just see what works. But then when you get into Q2, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more serious.
Yeah, it really does. Because everyone's trying their best and they're all trying to get the best lap in, but sometimes that they don't always get the best that they can do because it's mentally like killing almost. Because then you're like, oh, well, they're faster than me. Dang, I'm not gonna be able to pass them. I'm not gonna be able to win the race. But for some, it doesn't truly do that to them, and they are able to win the race without thinking, oh, they're faster than me, and stuff like that. So it truly is a mental game, but it does take a lot of skill at the same time.
Yeah, and I 100% agree that this is a very, very big mental game that just kind of, despite how your opponents are doing, you just have to keep your head down and just basically just keep driving. And you just have to keep doing what you want to do, no matter what's going on around you. And something that I will say, though, is that is something that we did see in Australia. But if we look down the lineup right now of the times, so far, all of the times are very, very similar. I mean, from P1 down to P8 is roughly a second. So right there, already, all of these drivers, just like in Australia, are very, very close together. So we talk about, like you said, about like in the race where it's like, oh, some of them are faster than me, that might affect my mental. Even if you are in P7, you could be ecstatic, because if you are on the same pace as the leaders, that is really going to help you in the race, because in the race, it may be raining, it may be dry. We don't know if a safety car will come out. We don't know if someone's tire is just going to leave the axle and hit the barrier. The race can be so random, so that if you are staying right with the leaders, you're probably ecstatic and you're probably happy to be right with the fastest of the fast.
That you just may hear through the barriers of this game of the voice chats. You may just hear a quiet little, yeah, I'm Peter.
You're not. I mean, you're not entirely wrong. I will say you're not entirely wrong with that. But
You will just hear little me in Division 2. Yes, I'm beaten.
and then you look at the times, and you may be P10, but you're only roughly like less than a second off of pole position. So I mean, that really does matter when it comes down to it. And can you believe that Project just did it again? He set the fastest lap in Q1. Now in Q2, he beats Vide by just about 1/10, or I want to say maybe 700ths of a second over Vide. So it looks like Project's Q1 was not just one little flash. It looks like he is very fast around China.
Let's hope that he can. Well, for me, I am hoping he can't keep that. But for the entertainment part, let's hope he can do that. He can keep it for Q3.
Yeah, and now actually, as we wind down, we have just about 3.5 minutes and counting, or sorry, 3 minutes and counting, that we'll see if any of these other drivers are going to set a lap. Right now, Ricky, AQT, Low Pro, 2A, and not Kellogg. The first ones are in danger of being eliminated. Right now, Kellogg is on the out lap, so we'll see if he's going to be able to improve his lap time. But so far, other than Wildcat, who did retire, 2A, Low Pro, AQT, and Ricky are still in the pits. That they have not left yet.
Huh. For this race, it seems like everyone's close to each other. The Haas, the Meraki, and both Alpines and both Mercedes could. Oh wait, no. Never mind. Maybe not both Mercedes.
But as we were talking, actually, I need to just stop talking, because now all 4 of those drivers that were in the danger zone now are out on their out lap, so they probably will get their chance to set one last lap time to see who will get eliminated. But I will say one thing that I did find interesting, and I think something that some of the best drivers have always done well, especially like Meraki Dawn. In Q1, he set a second place lap on the medium compound. And I think by doing that, not only do you have a little bit of practice using the mediums on this track, but you save yourself another pair of soft tires going into the other Q sessions. Because right now he only has used one pair of soft tires, and a lot of these other drivers have used maybe 2 or 3. So I feel like he definitely has a little bit of an advantage there.
Oh yeah, he most definitely does. He was smart with it too. Dang, I kind of wish he said yes to Haas. But no, I love my drivers. But yeah, no, that is a smart thing to do, because then the other drivers will only have one pair of softs, and they have like one chance. But it seems like Meraki Dawn will have 2.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very big advantage. The clock is running down, so the clock will hit 0. So it looks like our top 3 will remain in the pits. A couple others were on their out laps. They won't make it. So right now, Illyrian, Gabrielle, 2A, Low Pro, AQT, and Ricky are currently on their laps right now. So we'll see how it goes. But this is going to be very close, especially for those down at the bottom. Kellogg on his last lap actually did improve his time by 0.3, so that is going to help his case. But we said before that a lot of the drivers right now are right beside each other. So I'm very interested to see if they're going to be able to set a better time, as Illyrian does come across the line. I believe he did improve his time by a 10th, so he will remain in P4, but with a very good time, as the kick Sauber of Ricky will be the first one of this group to cross the line, and we'll see. He's improved his lap so far. He will come across the line. It'll be 4/10 quicker, but he will remain in P11. So now it'll come down to 2A in the Ferrari, who is right behind. So now, so Cutie will go up into P10 and will knock out, and 2A will go up into P6. So Gabrielle, Cutie are eliminated, as Cutie thought he made it through, but they said no. 2A came through and knock him out.
Hey, you can't be too mad though. I bet the Ferrari team principal is pretty happy. He's like, hey, we got a 6th place.
So now, as we head into Q3, our 4 eliminated drivers, Wildcat, who retired and did not set a time, is in P15, Ricky in P14, Kellogg in P13, Gabrielle in P12, and then AQT in P11. So there's our 4 drivers. So we have our starting 10 right now, and very curious to see how Q3 is going to go, because I mean, you can even see between P1 and P2, it was 700ths of a second. You can't really get it much closer than that.
No, you really can't. You truly can't. I mean, I've seen people do it before, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up seeing both Alpines like finish with the exact same time, I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna do, because I don't know if there's really anything that we can do other than possibly freak out. But
yeah, I don't think the game has a thing in their system with the with 2 people at the same exact time.
it would be very interesting. Yeah, I was just saying, it would be very interesting to see, because if anything, in Rush Racing League, we can always count on very good races, very close races, and random game-breaking stuff that will just happen. And oh, I saw that, the Haas. Oh,
Lizzie.
Maybe a little bit of a scare there as he went off the track, but I think he's gonna be fine. But that was a little too close for comfort.
Way too close. All I know is I was kind of going between them, and all of a sudden I see a Lizzie go off track. I'm like, oh no, please no.
Yeah, because I mean, the worst possible thing that it could happen in Q3 is just
a DNF.
Yeah, I was gonna say just a DNF, or just even a little bit of a slide, because you don't even necessarily have to crash. A little bit of a slide could end up just being your lap. So you really just got to be careful when stuff like that happens.
I can't tell if that's oh wait, that's the Red Bull behind him. That's kind of menacing. I was looking at Illyrian and I saw like the Red Bull right behind him, and it was like menacing because he was going back and forth, side to side, like a roller coaster, kind of on the track. I'm like, oh. And it seems like Illyrian's having a good start with the first sector.
Yeah, he will be the first one right now so far, barring anything crazy happens, that he will be the first one to set the lap. And we already know that Illyrian today said that he is very interested in winning this race, and even quote saying putting Meraki Dawn in his place. And we already know that both Illyrian and Meraki Dawn are rivals. But they may have a little bit more competition because look, we talk about Illyrian and Meraki Dawn being like as they're like going to be the 2 championship leaders. Project and Vide may have something to say.
Yeah, Vide and Project may have something to say. We say that, but then we look and then all of a sudden we see Illyrian and Meraki Dawn put in a 130 flat.
Yeah, no, if we see someone put in a sub 130 lap, I'm sorry, but they just deserve to have pole position no matter what. That was like Ty's lap in Australia. Him setting that, like, he deserved to have pole. Like, that was an insane lap.
And he got a 132.1.
So that is a very, very good lap to set. I mean, look at that. Money will be right on their tail. Lizzie will take over P2 with a 132. But so far, the top 3 all right there is Vide, Stockhead, and Vide will take over with a 131.7.
Why, Vide? Why?
Meraki Dawn will take over P2 now as well with a 131.9 of his own. So now I believe that now the Mercedes of Lopro, yes, Lopro will be the next one up. He will set a 132.8 in P6. So already
I can kind of just hear Illyrian's voice in my head, just of him being like mad. And he's like, I need to go again.
Well, no, I don't have any doubt about that. I could definitely see that these drivers will run another lap to try and get it faster times, but you always want to see what these initial laps are, and I feel like that might be a reason of why Project is the only driver who has not gone out yet. So maybe that's why he hasn't gone out yet. He wants to see the competition, see what people are setting, but
he's probably like, oh, these dudes are slow, man.
Now let's be honest. If Project sets like a 131 exactly, like I said, he just deserves to have pole position because that would just be an insane lap.
Yeah.
But so far, maybe a little bit of an interesting development. Randro in the other Mercedes just set a purple sector 1. So maybe a little bit more drama incoming as Randro and Pitt are right now going to set their own times, and we'll see where that ends up. He did not set a purple sector 2. So we'll see where Randro ends up. This Pitt is going through sector 1 as well, and I don't know. I mean, so far the grid here in the top 10 is super close.
You know, I'm looking at Randro right now, and it seems like he might have a decent lap. He might be in the top 5.
It's going to be very close. We'll see where he ends up across the line, and he will get P6. So he actually does beat his teammate by 300ths of a second. Yeah, you actually were really close. So he does end up with P6. So now that will leave it down to, so Pitt actually had his lap invalidated. So we'll see if he's going to try and set one more maybe. You can see he's saving his ERS. And at a little bit of a slide in sector 3. It looked like he almost lost it. But so far,
you can honestly really lost it. You could lose it there pretty bad. You really could.
Feel like I almost had a nervous heart attack for Pitt when he slid there. Like watching him slide around there, I almost panicked for him. But he will. Okay, so he's gonna head into the pits, more than likely to get more fuel or maybe change his tires. But
possibly.
So far, Pitt and Project are the only 2 drivers who have not set a lap time right now. Illyrian is the only driver out on his out lap right now, going to set his second lap time. So maybe a little bit of an early call, but at the same time, he may be able to get ahead of the traffic by doing this.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of smart to get ahead of the traffic, because if you have traffic in front of you, it just ruins the time, all of it. Especially when it's AI. I hate AI. I hate the AI in this game.
I mean, I do agree with you there that the AI can definitely be a little bit questionable, but at least the good news is that we aren't dealing with any of the AI in this. So Illyrian actually will go back into the pits as well, but Lizzie will start his outlap as well. Maybe a little bit questionable. I am not entirely sure what their what the strategy is, but I guess, hey, if they can set faster laps, I won't question it.
I know what they're doing. He was kind of going out so that he wouldn't lose like his vision of the track, but he would still like not be out like trying to set another lap. But okay, I kind of see what they're doing, or what Illyrian did. I about combined their names. I about went Lizzie.
So actually, speaking of Lizzie is currently on the outlap. I guess we'll see if he does the same thing Illyrian does and pulls into the pits. But we do see that Project and Pit are both on their own outlaps as well. They're the only two drivers who have not set a lap time right now. Project, he set the fastest lap in both Q1 and Q2. So maybe going for the three-peat here in Q3 to actually get pole position. But he's gonna have an uphill battle with that. I mean, he not only Vide, but Meraki Don as well. And Vide and Meraki Don's times are neck and neck right beside each other. So if Project sets the pole position, it's going to be an absolute screamer of a lap.
Yeah, I know. And one of the races I was in one day, I was like, oh my gosh, it was at Monza, and I was actually about to take pole, because I had the fastest first sector, fastest second sector, and I think the pole was like, it was something crazy. What's the average at Monza, I'd say? Or what do you say?
I don't have it on hand, but I'm guessing, I guess if we would set the bar, I'm guessing at least sub 120. I know that for a fact. I'm making sure that I can accurately give you the right timing.
Okay.
But
so my buddy, okay, yeah. So my buddy, he was about to set like a one. He set like a 118 low. Maybe, yeah, like a 118 low. And I was on the lap. I had a fastest first sector, fastest second sector. I'm like, okay, I can't mess up the third sector. Green third sector. I'm like, no. And I didn't take pole. I was like 500ths of a second away.
oh, and talk about development. Project sets a 131.8, so he is in P2 right now. As the clock is winding down, everyone is currently setting their laps. Next one up is Pit. We'll see where Pit ends up here for his lap, and he's gonna improve up into P7 with a 132.7. Project just did his lap, so Project, he gets the fastest lap in Q1, Q2, but then he doesn't set it in Q3.
Oh, I think both has right next to each other.
Oh, that's gonna be a little bit of an interesting development. And now, oh, and now look at that. They play the team game. Lizzie peels out of the way for Illyrian. How is this going to help Illyrian's time as he actually plays the team game? Heading around, as you can just tell that he is pushing the car to the limit. And Illyrian, it works! Illyrian will set the pole position time for now. Lizzie will secure in P5. Vide comes across the line and doesn't have an answer. So Illyrian will secure pole position for right now, but now it comes down to this guy right here, the reigning champion. Does Meraki Dawn have a response, as he is going to be probably the last driver, the last driver to respond? Does he have the time? And he does! He does it! Meraki Dawn! Can you believe that? A 131.5 to steal it away from Illyrian. Can you believe this?
Oh. 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 I had like a heart attack on the...
I cannot believe what I just witnessed. But here, before we get into the race, go through this real quick. Meraki Dawn will be your pole sitter. Illyrian in P2, Vide P3, Project P4, Alizzi P5, Money P6, 2A P7, Randro P8, Pit P9, Low Pro P10. What in the world is going on?
The top 8 are all within a second. So this is going to be an interesting race for the top 8.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And oh boy, and looking at the skies right now, it is very overcast.
I like this. This could be good. This could be good.
Yeah, this could end. We could realistically end up seeing rain come down in this race. It is 28 laps. It is a standard 50% distance race, as we normally do here, but I can't believe that we just witnessed that in qualifying. And I mean, that was qualifying pace. Now I'm wondering what the race is going to be.
Oh, me too.
I just know that because I mean, at least now the strategy will come into play. And I mean, if it rains, that's really going to throw everything out, and you can't rule out safety cars either. So, I mean, there is just so much intrigue going into this race. So here we go. The start of Rush Racing NA EU 5 lights time, and we are underway here in China. It looks like Meraki Dawn got a really good head start. He's going to chop across the front of Illyrian, and he's going to secure. We have one Haas on the grass, and he's going to be able to hold on, and we have an Alpine running wide. I believe that's Vide who runs wide, and now side by side as Illyrian is going. Another Alpine. Project having a little bit of contact in the backfield. Everyone is piling together. Project will be able to go as a lot of these drivers. We have a Williams in the back. I believe that was Pitt who had contact. So now already you can see working their way through Sector 1. A lot of the drivers still side by side jostling for position. One plus side of China is that these tracks are very wide, so a lot of space to go side by side. But now heading through Sector 1, you can see that a lot of people still roughly really close together. Illyrian able to take over P1, but Meraki Dawn is fighting right back as we go through out of Sector 2, now into Sector 3 for everyone's favorite long distance straight. No DRS right now for the first lap, so we'll see how they will approach this. We'll see if he's going to be able to get it done off of ERS, but man, what a crazy lap 1.
Yeah, really crazy lap 1. It seems like, the Wildcats are involved.
Oh, no, there's contact between the leaders. Both Illyrian and Meraki Dawn go out of the last turn, and they fall down the grid. Illyrian is going to be able to recover better, and he's up into P4. Meraki Dawn's down into P6. Well, one Haas will swap at the other as Alizzi will go into P1. Project will take over P2. And just like that, Illyrian actually is back into P3.
Yeah, that could have been Meraki Dawn's race over. It really could. Because it looked like he had wing damage, or it looked like he hit them with his wings. But it doesn't seem like he does. So that's cool. That's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at least looking from the cameras, it doesn't look like he had wing damage, and it didn't look like Illyrian had it either. More than likely, it was probably the contact system. We do have a caution in the back grid, and Wildcat's in the grass. Both Wildcat and Pit were in the gravel. Not entirely sure. That's Pitt's second incident that he's had, but no safety car called there, as we will stay green.
It seems like most people had the idea of going medium, hard, or medium, hard, or hard, medium, and it seems like Wildcat's the only one on softs. Huh.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how that's going to go. And now DRS is enabled. Project's going to go on the inside. And is he going to get the move? Maybe. Olizia with the switchback. But right now, it looks like Project is going to hold on. But you can't count it out, because now Olizzi's going to have DRS himself, and he's going to go right out the outside. And just like that, Olizzi will retake the lead. Oh my word!
Like trying to catch up to them. He might have a say in that fight.
Yeah, I know. You can look down the grid. You can see that everyone is basically still side by side, and even Meraki Don, who had that incident, now he's on the tail of Scaling Money, is now maybe looking to the inside. A little bit of contact. Doesn't look like no damage to either car, and Meraki Don will get through. Maybe Money putting his elbows out trying to defend, but it's not going to be enough. And Meraki Don now again within a second of Illyrian, as we talked about it before, Illyrian chasing down the leaders. This has been an insane race so far.
Yeah, it really has. It truly has.
And now you talking about the strategy. I guess that it will be interesting to see how things are go, because you always have to factor in the rain. But you can see out of the top 5, or maybe even the top 7, Project is the only one on that hard compound. Everyone else chose to go with the mediums. So maybe that'll help him in the long run, as now he's using DRS. So Project won't go for the move. He had the momentum, he had DRS and the battery, but he didn't go for the move. Still hanging right behind Olizzi. Maybe he's gonna try and do it. No, he messes it up coming out of the last corner. So it's not going to be a move done. So Olizzi will hold on to the lead for now, as Project is trying to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Illyrian, but Illyrian is still right there.
He's trying his best to get Illyrian out, because without that incident with Meraki Don and Illyrian, he wouldn't be in P2 right now. So he's probably trying to get out of DRS range for Illyrian.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see if he's going to continue to go up, because Abide, the Alpine teammate, also had that incident. I don't think he hit anyone. He just ended up going wide, and he fell down the order into P9. But a lot of these drivers, I think one thing that you end up worrying about in the race is that not only is the dirty air really bad, obviously just in this game, but in China it can be really bad, but you can also fall into DRS trains. And knowing a lot of these drivers where they want to get moves done, the DRS train can really hamper that.
Seems like Meraki Don's in front of Illyrian, but Illyrian kind of gave it to him.
And oh, a little bit of wheel banging. Oh my word. I don't know how they don't have damage. Oh my word. I don't think they could add much. I don't know what I just witnessed. Vide tried to make an aggressive dive bomb down the inside of 2A. It didn't work. And I don't know how in the world he held that, but now to the inside, Gabrielle is going to get the move done over Vide, but now Vide fighting back, a little bit more wheel banging, but oh my word.
Oh.
so much wheel banging, but so far we have not seen any damage from the car. So I guess somewhat clean driving, we can say.
Yeah, no, it seems like Illyrian kind of let Meraki down the front so he could get DRS possibly. Huh.
I think that is possible
make
because, yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you because you can see Meraki Dawn is already within the almost just about half a second of the 2 leaders, because I think that's probably what he did. He wanted to get DRS to get back into it, but you can see how close the leaders are. You can see from Lizzie down to P7, they are all within a second of each other, so they are all right there for DRS.
The top 5 mainly are right there. Nope.
Oh, now it looks like he's gonna go for the move. Lizzie and Project side by side. Is he gonna try the switch back? I don't think Lizzie's going to, but Lizzie's going to be behind him. He will have DRS this time. Is he gonna make the move? And he will around the outside. And it's the same script ×2 as Project overtakes. And now, wait, maybe we're gonna see something different as now trying to make it work through that really tough sector 1. Both Lizzie and Project side by side still. I don't know if we can get much closer.
No. Hey, I've seen in some races though, them like literally inch apart. People inch apart, the tires inch apart from each other. Oh, that was. Oh.
Me and you are having the same reactions. Project is able to keep the lead, but I agree with you. Me and you are having the same reactions because we're seeing just how close the drivers are getting to each other.
It seems like it won't be the back that's interesting today.
Yeah, I know. Usually we end up bouncing around the grid to see where the best battles are right now. But so far, the top 7 is just one big battle.
Oh, it seems like they're all in the DRS train.
Yeah, and so far, and it looks like Lizzie won't make the move, so we'll see. But now I'm kind of curious to see who's going to make the move. Oh, Meraki Dawn is side by side with Lizzie. Are they going to be able to hold it? He does. What a move around the outside.
Lizzie will probably have. Oh, Lizzie going for the move on the outside. Oh,
squeezes him out. A great defensive move there. Doesn't wreck him. He just makes sure that his car is right there. And a great move there by Meraki Dawn. Meraki Dawn back up into P2 as now we have our 3rd driver. And now, wait, what happened? Project's in the gravel and he goes off the track. Meraki Dawn is into the lead. I don't know necessarily what happened. Maybe he missed the turn. Maybe a wheel disconnect. Oh, and the internet's out maybe. As now Project will leave the session. His car hasn't retired. So the AI will take over, but what in the world did we just see?
I don't know, but since his AI did take over, it will project his time that he put in. And it, so far, what is his time actually? Oh, it does not tell. Oh wait, yes it does. So far his time is a 1:35, so,
So we will see. Hopefully he will be able to rejoin and he'll be able to get back in. And actually, I will say that Meraki Dawn has broken DRS and maybe a little bit of the team game. And Illyrian, you called it out. You beat me to it. Illyrian will overtake his teammate Lizzie. And we'll see is now Meraki Dawn trying to break it. No, Illyrian's going to go into the pits.
Yeah, he's doing the 2-pit stop.
Yeah, so an interesting call there. We'll see, I guess, how it goes. He did do the 7 laps, and now, oh, wait a minute, maybe we're seeing a move here. Money and Lizzie side by side, a little bit of wheel banging there, as Lizzie will maintain P2. But, oh my goodness, I think this might be the closest race that I have seen here in North America.
It seems like Illyrian will still come back up in P12. Let's kind of see how well he does.
Yeah, he does come out on the medium, so I do believe that your prediction was correct, that you said that running medium to hard is maybe the strategy that him and maybe others are going to use. I mean, so far, I do think that it looks like the correct strategy, as the leaders are all on the mediums, and then Vide is leading the group who started on the hards down into P6. But already crazy. We do have a caution sector 3. The caution was cleared up immediately. I don't think anything really happened. But now we'll see. Money is going to go to the inside. They'll be side by side. And Lizzie trying to hold it. Is he going to try and make a move? He's going to, maybe. But no, Money's going to chop across the front. And he will maintain it. So Lizzie will go into the pits as well now.
GoPro and P3 now. Hey, both Mercedes up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, talk about the most improvement, Low Pro improving from P10 up into P3 now.
But yeah, it does seem like that is the strategy, and I'm glad that my strategy I gave him on the one pit that 8 and the other pit's lap 9, because I know if you stayed out to like a lap 11, it wouldn't really work that way, because then you wouldn't really have the advantage. You wouldn't be able to catch up if you pitted with everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I do know what you mean. And I actually think, to that point, that does kind of make it a little bit maybe decision time for some of these other drivers, because Meraki, Don, Money, Low Pro, and Randro are all running mediums. I think it's going to be the most interesting for the Mercedes, because it looks like they're both running the same strategy. That could be a huge detriment if they end up pitting on the same lap and they don't take your words into account. And actually, talk about taking someone into account. Vide, still saying that he's there, overtakes into P4. So the first Mercedes will pit. Low Pro into the pits. Meraki Dawn into the pits as well. So now Money is into the lead. Vide into P2. Randro into P3. Gabrielle did get the race's first penalty for track limits, and Gabrielle is in P4 right now. So right now,
like I'll be in P9.
That is true, and actually, yeah, I was gonna say that is actually a big win for Illyrian, as Illyrian did come out ahead of Meraki Dawn, but more than likely now we'll see when the rest of this grid will pit, because especially if you are Vide, who probably out of this leading group is probably has the fastest pace that we've seen so far. It's going to be very interesting to see in particular when he will pit, because that'll give us really a good indication of how long these hard tires are going to go.
Yeah, it truly will. It really will. And Gabriel, with that time penalty, with how everybody's kind of all together, that will put him back some places. That'll actually put him back quite a few places. Because it seems like Greco's is about 3 seconds right behind him.
Yeah, and I mean, right now you can see, so scaling Money, so Money will continue on. So that'll make 10 laps on the mediums. Randro will go into the pits, so the Mercedes do avoid that double pit stop. They do avoid it. 2A will stay out as well. Gabrielle will stay out. Grecos will stay out as well. So you can see Randro will fall down the grid. Alizzi will actually set the fastest lap, but Illyrian up into P6 now, as it looks like his pit stop right now is working out well.
Yeah, a truly good pit stop for a track like this with how everybody kind of is all close together. That's probably the best option for him was to pit on lap 8 and a Lizzie pit on lap 9.
So I
As he
actually,
is now in P5.
yeah, he does. He is continuing to improve, as it looks like maybe the hard tires are finally starting to give out a little bit. So I actually I may need your help, as I don't know if you have Project Race added, but he may need an invite back. If he does get an invite back, he can retake control of his car. So I don't know if you have an added or not.
I do not, but
So maybe if you can help me out with that.
I could possibly add him on my phone since I do have the EA race note on here.
So then, if possible, if you want to join the stream, and you can put your name in there. So money actually will go into the pits now. Vide will overtake the lead as we are now on lap 12. Vide has a very comfortable lead. Meraki Don will set the fastest lap. So right there, you can see just the kind of pace that we're working with right now. Illyrian will now overtake into P3, overtaking Gabrielle. So now 2A is 7 seconds behind Vide, and Illyrian is 2 seconds behind them. We have a caution in sector 1. Not entirely sure. Oh, we have an Aston Martin backwards, as I believe Gabrielle spun out of that out of the sector 1. So that is really going to hurt their race. But again, even though there was a caution, no safety car deployed. So the race will continue. So now it's going to be a big question to see when Vide is going to pit, because obviously the hard tires are not going to last, but at some point it's going to be a bit of a guessing game as to when you want to. Lizzie will actually get a 3-second time penalty for track limits violation.
Oh, wow.
Only the second penalty that we've had all race, as I mean, we're nearing halfway through the race. So far that's actually pretty good to see that we've only had those 2 penalties, but that's definitely going to hurt their race.
Hold on, I'm finding the stream right now so I can see if he put it in.
That is all good. So actually now we have an interesting development. 2A, who is on the same hard tires as Vide, chose to pit on this lap. So now he will switch to the mediums, and he does end up falling down the grid. But Vide staying out on that hard tires. He's 8 seconds ahead of Illyrian. Honestly, if you are Vide, you're probably feeling pretty good. I mean, you're on the hard compound. You're keeping pace, and I mean, you haven't been really losing that much time to the people behind you. So I mean, I guess if you're Vide, you just want to keep going as long as possible.
Yeah, I do agree with that. If he wasn't in the spot he was, that he's in, I would say do that, because Merakidon and Lyrian will be fighting for P2 until they catch him, or until he pits, and that and all will make them lose time on Vide, which will give him a better gap, which would probably make it better for Vide, because then he would be able to secure P1, because he could come out in front of them, depending on how much the gap is.
Oh, and talk about P2! Oh, what a save by Illyrian! Both Meraki Don and Illyrian locked up going into the end of the DRS zone. They were able to save it. Meraki Don is up into P2. Vide will continue once again for another lap. He is losing a little bit of time to Meraki Don and Illyrian. Going on lap 12, he was 8 seconds ahead. Now he is down to 7 seconds ahead, just a lap and a half later. So it does look like he is ending up to lose time. But I guess maybe that is the plan for Vi, to go as long as possible on the hard compound, because then you're really at, like, basically at your leisure to pick when you want to pit for the mediums, because then it just comes down to your pace.
Yeah, it truly does. And if he stays out long enough, he can make those mediums last. He can make those mediums last to the end, which would give him an advantage because then he would have the fresher tires and more speed.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
probably just one pit stop.
So actually something very interesting here. Meraki Dawn has actually broken DRS range from Illyrian, but Olizzy actually got into DRS range with their teammate. So I guess now it's really going to come down to a question. You see, almost decisively, Vi does not go into the pits, so he will start lap 15, as now he is really starting to lose time, as now he is 5 seconds down. There is a caution, I believe that, yeah, oh no, it's the Williams of pit. Maybe having another spin. That China has not been his race today, but he is able to keep going. And now there again, once again, no caution.
Both pass right at each other. Oh, you gotta love a team competition, and so it kills them both. But I know they're both smart enough, hopefully, that they won't wreck each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say the last thing that you would want is to have a situation where you end up basically the Spain situation where Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg wreck into each other. Now we have a caution, and the VSC is deployed. Gabrielle and the Aston Martin is out. So that is our first retirement of the race. I believe that they crashed on the front straightaway, but it is not a full safety car. It is only a virtual safety car. So maybe this would be the chance for Vide, as Vide is coming down the front stretch or the back stretch in sector 3.
Yeah.
So
it would be the chance for everyone on trying to do a 1 pit stop and a 2 pit stop to pit right now, actually.
So now we'll see. Oh, but maybe it's not going to help us. DRS is enabled and the green flag goes, but Vide is going to take the opportunity anyway. Vide is into the pits. So now we'll see as Meraki Dawn is up into the lead, Illyrian into P2, Olizzy P3. So now I'm going to be very curious. It's going to come down to when Vide is going to come out of the pits. He will switch to the mediums. If he can come out ahead, and he won't, Money will pass him, Low Pro will pass him, Randro as well, and he's gonna come out of the pits right beside Kellogg, and Kellogg's gonna get around him. So Vide will come out of the pits in P8 behind the other drivers, so now he's really got his work cut out for him.
Greco's, I was about to say, he made a really good comeback. But still, he kind of did. He started dead last, now he's in 11th. He was in 9th, though.
Yeah, he was on the same strategy as Vide, that he was also on the 15-lap old hard tires, and I believe he came into pit at the exact same time. So maybe just a little bit unfortunate.
We have some lap, we have one lap car, and it is Project Race, because he was kicked out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the AI took over his car. We haven't been able to invite him, or I haven't heard anything, so unfortunately we might not be able to get him back in, but yeah, just unfortunate. Yeah,
his user wasn't in the thing. I couldn't find him online either as well.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of unfortunate. So I mean, this is gonna be a question. So yeah, I was about to say, Illyrian is now into the pits, making probably their last pit stop, going onto the hard compound. So maybe a little bit now. Once again, Illyrian pit before Meraki Dawn and Olizzy before. So now the pressure is going to be all on Meraki Dunn because he's on the same thing. He's on mediums. His mediums are slightly fresher, but as we are winding down the race, it's still going to be a very big question mark of when is he going to choose to pit.
Yeah, it seems like about everyone's on the same thing, except for Meraki Dunn. So Meraki Dunn, it seems like he's going to have to pit. And it seems like if that happens, Lizzie could win this race. He has a pretty good lead on money.
Yeah, I do agree that that would bring him into contention to win this race. It's just the biggest part for Lizzie is that 3-second penalty. I mean, if Lizzie wants to try it, in his opinion, if he wants to try and go on the one stop and just hold the lead as long as possible, I agree that there is a good chance that maybe he could try, but we're talking about it. Meraki Dunn will go into the pits now, and Lizzie will follow as well. So both Meraki Dunn and Lizzie will go into the pits. So now it means Money will go into the lead right now. Vide will go up into second place. Randro will go up into third place. Meraki Dunn will exit the pits. So now it's going to be a question, can he get out? Now there is a caution sector 2. I believe that is pit. Once again, either pit or Greco. No, it was pit.
And Tyrion is right behind Meraki Dunn now. So Lizzie's right behind Illyrian.
Yeah, so the three of the 4 leaders of this race are all next to each other, as you have Kellogg on the old hards ahead of them, Randro in P3, who's actually done a great had a great drive this race, Vide, who is probably in a very prime position, just more of a question of how long his mediums will last, and then Money the same way. There is a chance that Money could try and go to the end on his hard tires if he can hold it, but this race is going to come down to the wire.
It really will. Truly about this track, it's about strategy.
Oh, and now there's a spin! Oh my word! Vide spun in the background! We talked about it during qualifying. He lost it coming onto the front stretch. He does save it. He will stay in P3, but he has P4 through 7 closing in on him.
Lizzie makes the move and Meraki Dunn.
Oh my word!
Kellogg.
Oh my word! That was a lot that just happened in one sector.
CP6. It looks like Lizzie's making the move on Kellogg.
And you will get it done. Yes, Lizzie into P5. Illyrian closing in as well. Those 11-lap old hard tires are not helping Kellogg. And now there is a caution. I'm not entirely sure what the caution was, but now it's resolved. So we've only had the one virtual safety car. We have not had anything else, but... And he will... Does he... Maybe a little bit of a too close for comfort with the lockup, but he does get it done. So now all of the leaders are now back up to the front of the grid. So now here comes the hard part, because you have Money and Randro who are on the old hard tires. Then you have Vide and Lizzie on the mediums, and then you have Meraki and Illyrian on the new hards. I mean, you have so many different strategies, at least 3 to maybe even 4 different strategies right now in the top 6. I really do think this race is going to go down to the wire.
It really will go down to the wire, because it seems like they're all together. It seems like that rain we were talking about is not coming.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, at the beginning of the race, it really actually did look like it was going to rain, but as the race has gone on, it's gone much more sunny. And I unfortunately can't say that in real life, as if we want to get a quick update, I want to say that in real life, as I look out my window...
Well, Lizzie even the fastest lap.
Yeah, I was gonna... Oh, and Lizzie actually will set the fastest lap, so you can see really who's gotten the pace. But like I said, a quick update. As I look out my window, there is currently maybe 4 inches of snow on the ground outside, roughly. And it is continuing to snow much more. And actually, it's gotten harder and harder as the day's gone on. So, I mean, the drivers don't have to contend with that, but we make sure that at least me and you, Verstappen, that we are at least staying warm, right?
Yeah, and I do know that it's not 2 or 3 inches of snow outside my house. It's about 2 inches of ice.
Oh, and now, oh my word! A little bit of drama and wheel banging. Meraki, Don, and Vide are side by side.
Together.
They're doing their best. Maybe a little bit of thrown elbows as Meraki, Don will get by. Oh my word, that was so close. And you can see all of the drivers going around trying to sub their DRS. Meraki will go around Randro, but Vide has the DRS as well. Is he going to try and make it around Lizzie? All 3 of them with DRS around each other. Oh my word.
Oh, the Pitt Williams has a time penalty now.
So Pitt will also get the 3-second time penalty for track limits violations. So now I'm very curious to see what's going to happen as Lizzie thought about making the move. But oh my word, now I'm really curious to see what the plan is for Money, as he is currently now right about 5.5 seconds ahead of Meraki Don. I guess if he can maintain that gap, he could go to the end, but if he needs to pit, he probably wants to pit probably now on this lap. But
yeah, he would have pitted last lap.
Yeah, so maybe he is going to try and go to the end on these tires, but I feel
he really could.
I feel like probably the biggest loser out of all the strategy talk has been Illyrian. Arguably, Illyrian probably has at least one of the freshest tires on the track, but whenever Meraki, Don, Lizzie, and Vide made moves, Illyrian just didn't have time to make the move. So now he's having to try and get around Randro as well, and maybe he will have DRS, but now Randro is right behind him. Maybe Randro trying to fight back. Is he gonna hold on? No, he won't. Maybe a little bit too close for comfort, as Illyrian will get around Randro. But now I still feel like Illyrian is probably the biggest loser, as now he's just over 1.5 seconds behind Vide, and he has to catch up with them.
It seems like he's pulling away from Randro. And it seems like he is gaining some time on Vide.
Yeah, and ultimately that is what you want to do. And actually, Vide almost slipped out of DRS range, as right now Meraki Don is the leader of this group. Lizzie in P3, Vide in P4, and then Illyrian in P5. With all of them right now, this race really could come down to what happens with Money, because Meraki Don has been catching up to Money, as going out of lap 21, Money had a 5-second gap. Now that is down to a 3-second gap, and it's going down even more, and that's not going to hurt, and that's not going to help. Illyrian gets a 3-second time penalty, and that is really going to hurt their chances now. But oh man, that does not help your case.
No, it really don't. But they gave it their all. That's truly all I ask for. They're both skilled drivers. I will give them that. But
yeah, they're both.
It truly come down to if you try your best. Let's see it in Illyrian that he tried his best, and Lizzie.
I do agree with you there that they are very, very good drivers, and I don't think anyone has any doubts about that. But track limits can be brutal on any of tracks in F1, and just if you want to get that little bit of an extra edge, going off track just a little bit can result in the penalties. But yeah, so now the limit is down to 2 seconds, almost 1.5 now. So now I'm kind of curious about what's going to happen as we are now on lap 23, and now the Williams of Pitt having another moment. But luckily, being a lap car, he was ghosted, so he doesn't affect anything. And a caution flag didn't even come out for him again. But now Meraki Dawn is almost, now within DRS range. So now here comes the very interesting part, as Meraki Dawn is catching up to Money and in DRS range, and more than likely Alizzi, Vide, and Illyrian will probably try and catch up as well. So now I'm trying, wasn't able to get it done going out of sector 3, but Meraki Dawn, we'll see as he comes down the front stretch. Is he going to make a move using everything? And he will. Meraki Dawn will take the lead of this race and passing Money. So now it comes down to if Alizzi, Vide, and Illyrian can catch up and use the DRS, but now it feels like it's Meraki Dawn's race to lose.
Yeah, it truly is.
And so far, I mean, we've talked about the penalties before. Right now, only 3 drivers have the current penalties right now, as Alizzi and Illyrian both have the penalties. Track limits violations. Pitt also has a track limits violation. But so far, a actually very clean race so far.
Alizzi's catching Money fast, too. He's like right there.
Actually, yes, you're right. He is right there, and maybe we'll see a move. I mean, he is going to have DRS for sure. We'll see. He doesn't have much battery, so maybe he won't. He'll just try and get as close as possible. Actually, never mind. He might be able to make the move off DRS alone. Down the inside of Money, and he is going to be able to hold on, and he does hold on. So Alizzi up into P2, and now it comes down to, so now you can see Vide and Illyrian are still catching Money as well.
Yeah. This might have been Money's downfall of not pitting. Because it seems like the top 5 will catch him. He'll at least get a top 5, but still.
Yeah, and it seemed like Money took the risk of, I believe he is only, I would have to double check just to make sure, but I believe, he is on the 1 stop. So if you want to say what's crazy is that Illyrian said that the 1 stop would not work, and currently both Money and Vide are on the 1 stop, and they're both actually ahead of Illyrian right now. Now Meraki Dawn and Alizzi are currently in 1st and 2nd, and they are on the 2 stop, so he necessarily wasn't wrong, but there's a real chance that Money and Vide, there's a chance that they could get a podium by only doing the 1 stop.
It truly could. Well, one of them could. One of them can't. It might be Vide, because he is gaining on them.
Well, no, it could be both of them, because remember, Alizzi has a 3-second time penalty.
Well,
So right now, Alizzi would drop to P4, I believe. It'd be a little close. But no, I believe he would. Actually, he would drop into P5. And then Money would get P2, Vide would get P3, Illyrian would get P4. So that's where the penalty can really mess with your race. And that can really mess with you, because now with that penalty nagging in the back of your mind, you have to get that amount of space, as Vide is right behind Money, as we are now on lap 26 of 28. And it looks like Vide is trying to get the move done, but maybe not enough room. And it looks like maybe a little bit of movement. Oh my goodness. Both Alpines right there and down to the inside, and there's contact. Oh my word! A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact as Vide sends. Oh, and Illyrian got through. The contact sent Illyrian up into P3. Oh my word! I didn't even realize that Illyrian just went straight through. Went in just like a stealth fighter and just passed everyone. And now we have a Haas in P2 and P3.
But will be again. That time penalty will be next.
And right now, Meraki Dawn does have a comfortable lead. He has a 3-second gap between him and Alizzi, and Alizzi almost has a 3-second gap to Illyrian. So now with the penalties, I'm very curious to see what happened. Illyrian is in the most danger, having Vide and Money right there behind him still. So I am curious to see how this will go, as Meraki Dawn will start lap 27 as we have 2 laps to go here in the Chinese Grand Prix. But so far, I actually want to hear your opinion. Now we do have I apologize for the poor English, but we usually have a prediction of who we think is going to be driver of the day, and then the game ends up telling us who. But who do you think should get driver of the day so far?
I think Money. He did really good. Money.
I actually do kind of agree with you. And actually, to answer the chat, surprisingly, we have only had one VSC, and it was for the Aston Martin Gabrielle, who crashed on the front straightaway. I believe it was lap 16, I believe. But the VSC is the only thing that we've had. In my opinion, I could actually see Greco's getting in, because I mean, Greco started in last place, and he is now in the top 10 in points. So
he is
up 7. I actually think that Greco's could actually end up getting driver of the day.
He really could, actually.
So now we'll see, as Meraki Dawn will go to the line. You'll see him, you'll see his teammate first. His teammate first cross. Now Meraki Dawn will start the final lap. He currently has still almost now a 4-second gap ahead of Alizzi. Illyrian is trying to catch up to his teammate. Not entirely sure if that will happen, but with the 3-second penalty, more than likely Vide would take the P3 away from Illyrian. So now this is going to be a very dramatic finish, as we'll see where the penalties will place Alizzi and Illyrian.
If Illyrian could get that last few hundredths of a second from Vide, he could secure P3, because they are 2 seconds away from each other.
That is true. They are. He did put it. The Illyrian is doing a good job of putting a little bit of a gap. But if he wants to negate the penalty, he needs 1 more second to be able to negate the penalty. I mean, you can see he is putting the pace out. That even now, he is putting out the very best that he can, as now he is at 2.5 seconds. So, like we said, this may come down to the line. Depending on how this goes, there's a chance Illyrian actually could get the gap, but it will come down to this final stretch. As you can see, Meraki Dawn will head around the final turns. He won it in Australia, and the king of North America Division 1 will retain his crown for now, as he will win the Chinese Grand Prix. Alizzi right behind him will come in at P2, but now here's the question. Illyrian will finish only 2.3, so Vide will finish. Oh, but it works! Because of the penalties, Illyrian secures it. So it's a Haas 2 and 3, Vide P4, Money P5, Randro P6, and Lopro will hold off Kellogg's for a P7, Kellogg's in P8, and Greco's looks like a possible driver of the day will come home in P9 with a great drive. 2A will come home in P10. Project will come home in P15. Pit in P14. And the final drivers will come down the order as Ricky will come in P11. We'll wait for AQT and the other Ferrari will come home in P12. And then Wildcat will come home in P13. What a race.
What a race. The very end, he about made me have a heart attack.
I mean, I don't know necessarily how he did it, but he outran the penalty by 1/10 of a second. So a great job by Illyrian. I don't know how in the world he ended up doing that, but oh my word, congrats to him.
Honestly.
Oh, Vide actually said that he got a puncture. So actually maybe that is what propelled Illyrian to actually get ahead. So we'll see the top three. It is a Haas 2 and 3, but the man right there still who wears the crown, Meraki Don, wins here in China. If possible, I would like to have all three drivers come in for interviews as the drivers here will celebrate with the champagne. And we'll go ahead and read down the order. And actually, look at that. Driver of the day goes to Alizzi. So Meraki Don will get the race win. Alizzi has the fastest lap. Driver of the day, most overtakes. Cleanest driver does go to Meraki Don as well. And we'll go ahead and yeah, a little bit shocking there. We'll go ahead and read down the order. Meraki Don with the race win. Alizzi in P2. Illyrian P3. Vide P4. Money P5. Randro P6. Low Pro P7. Kellogg P8. Greco's P9. 2A P10. Ricky P11. AQT P12. Wildcat P13. Pip P14. Project P15. And Gabrielle in P16. And we go ahead and I will make sure that we get the people joining in. And actually, look at that. Everyone joined in very quickly, and I'm very happy to see that. So we will start here with our race winner, Meraki Don or Potato. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Well, first of all, I was gonna say, first of all, congrats on the race win here in China at a very difficult track, no doubt. I will say that I'm very curious because this was kind of a race where it was a lot of back and forth because of when different drivers were pitting. And actually, for example, Vide and Money got to the end on the one stop. So how confident were you feeling about your strategy going into this race?
I just knew it was gonna work. One stop doesn't work, and then they did it, and I was just like, why are they doing this? And then I thought Money was gonna pit on like the last 9 laps and just gun it to the end. He could have finished top 3 maybe if he did that, but hey man, not my race. But it was good. I just made it work, I guess.
Yeah, so, and I mean, that is basically how I know you and know your driving, is that no matter what happens, you make it work. And I mean, you win in Australia, you carry that momentum here to China, and you win here as well. How do you feel? I mean, you probably couldn't have asked for a better start to the season. I mean, how are you feeling like for the season as a whole?
I'm feeling kind of good. Really, like using this race, because last race wasn't really a good example because people were murdered lap 1. So this just gives me a better insight of who my competitors are really. Because qualifying, whatever, like there's always gonna be people fighting qualifying, but race pace, that's where it's really gonna start to really be at. So that's really what I just use this race for.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely looking at qualifying. I mean, you could even say to your the other two competitors here, Illyrian and Lizzie, that I mean, all of you were right there side by side fighting. And honestly, I can't wait to see how the rest of the season is going to go, just because I feel like this race was, like as you said, a great example to see what the competition is going to be like. And I can't wait to see how the next races are going to go. Before you go, and before I let you go, is there any shout outs to anyone that you would like to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to you, of course, GameHawk. You already know. And then I'd also give a shout out to Liren for making my race a little harder than it needed to be. Had a little ruffles lap 1, 2 ruffles lap 1, but you know, we live and we learn, we move forward.
We live, we learn, and we move forward. I think that should be a quote that should be saved for North America Rush Racing. But yeah, congratulations on the race win, Meraki Don, and I'll let you go and hopefully see you next week, or next race, I should say.
All right.
So now we move on to P2 as well. Illyrian, how are you feeling after that race?
I didn't finish P2. Lizzie finished P2.
Oh, Lizzie, sorry. Sorry, I got everything. I got mixed up there. I apologize. Lizzie, finishing P2, how do you feel?
All good. Well, I feel good because first podium, you know. I mean, China isn't like the best track for me, personally. I also I don't really like this track at all, but P2 is good for the second race here. Also, double Haas podium, so a very good race from us.
Yeah, I was gonna say a very good race from Haas getting the P2 and the P3. And I guess this kind of relates as a question to Meraki Don as well. Did you feel any kind of like added pressure because you and I'll ask Illyrian this as well, because you both had a track limits violation, you had the 3-second penalty. Did you feel any extra pressure when you had that penalty and you saw kind of the plethora of cars ahead of you that were trying to do the one-stop strategy?
I think the one stop was just too bad, so you just lose too much time on the one stop. But like, as I got the 3 seconds, I thought like, okay, maybe I will get like only P5, P6. But the tires drop so quickly that you gain a lot of time. So I didn't feel that much of pressure because it's the first 2 races in a season and there's like, I don't know, 12 races to go, or how many races are to go?
I believe we have, after today, we have 10 races to go.
Yeah, well, still 10 races remain, so everything's open now, and like maybe if you ask in 3 or 5 rounds, then you will start feeling some pressure.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't said it any better, and I know that is why I already know you, Potato, and Illyrian are the top drivers, because you guys are all cool, calm, cool and calm when you're under pressure. Before I let you go as well, same thing. Do you have anyone that you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, well, maybe my Haas teammate, teammate and team principal for the great work and great strategy.
All right, and thank you so much, Lizzie. I appreciate you spending time here to answer questions, and I'll let you go. So now, as I recall correctly, Illyrian coming in P3. How are you feeling?
Yes, soldier. To be honest, after all of the BS that happened, I'll take P3, man. Good job, obviously, to my teammate. We got double podium. That's a good, solid performance from us. And yeah, Meraki, yeah. Meraki, man. Getting away with me. I've telling you, yeah, he done a solid performance today. Can't lie to you, I did say that I wanted to beat him today, but obviously it didn't happen. I know we had a collision lap one. I'd say the first one I got a bit too ambitious, and then the second one is that complete stupid glitch that I don't know why EA hasn't fixed it, but they need to fix it up. And then then I made it just as difficult for Meraki Don as well to catch up. I struggled, and yeah, P3 at the end. I'll take it, man.
Yeah, and talking about all the stuff that happened, the biggest question that I definitely have been wanting to ask you as soon as the race ended, just like Alizzi, you had a 3-second time penalty. You were rushing to the end. How in the world did you find the pace to just barely get ahead of Vide to secure P3? I mean, that was absolutely incredible to see you pull that off.
I do want to give out props to Vide as well, because I don't think you guys actually understand what Vide actually did, because he done 13 laps on the mediums. And I will be honest with you, I was expecting his tyres to completely shut off on the last lap. Don't get the wrong idea. If we finished on lap 27 out of 28, he would have easily got that podium. But I just knew the last lap I was going to get, regardless of what was going to happen, I knew I was going to get P3.
Yeah, and I mean, I already said before that, like, this race was definitely a good job of seeing how the competition is going to go, because we didn't have any safety cars. We did have a couple wheel banging, but we didn't ever have like huge incidents. So I think definitely, like you said, great job to you three, to Vide, to Money as well, for just all being right there and racing very well. Before I let you go, because we do have a Div 2 race coming up, are there any shout outs that you would like to give?
Obviously, shout out to you, my brother, for great commentary with Verstappen, also my teammate, and Meraki Don as well for also making my life a bit of a living hell.
Well, maybe a little bit of friendly competition, but I've definitely said that it is awesome to see you guys all race, and I hope that it's a great season, and I can't wait to see where it goes. That is going to do it for us.
Like I said, yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good.
Meraki's my brother, but on track, we're rivals. No matter what, we're not friends.
I believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for us here in Division 1. Thank you for the three here on podium to come in and do the interview. But like I said, that is gonna do it for us here in Div 1. Stick around, everyone in the stream. We're gonna probably hop right into the Division 2 race. Thank you guys all for coming in and watching. I have been your host, GameHawk, alongside my co-commentator Verstappen. We hope that you guys will stick around for the Division 2 race, and we will see you here in a few short minutes.
Yay.